So I promise this has to do with sewing. Don't click off just yet, but I have a fabulous thing called Bad Girl Pie to share with y'all. Bad Girl Pie is a book. But like I said, don't click off. You want to hear this. I know you may be a little confused right now, but you're going to want to hear this because it will tie back in with sewing. This is an advanced copy of Bad Girl. Okay, isn't the cover amazing though? So this is an advanced copy of Bad Girl Pie, which is why it's just printed off like this. I had the absolute honor, privilege of reading it advanced, and okay, so the fact that I even took this and I read it, there's so much I want to get out and say. For starters, the fact that I took the time to sit there and read it says something, because I've got projects. I've got this sewing project and that sewing. I've got State Fair. I've got things that I'm finishing up from 10 years ago that my kiddos, before they outgrow them. There's projects that literally nobody here on earth knows about them that I'm working on. There's a ton of things that I've got simmering on in the background, and I had the pleasure of reading this advanced, but also I took the time to do it, which says something, and I kept with it because it's a page turner. It is written by a brilliant woman by the name of Marilyn. She was a professor. I mean, her list of credentials is so impressive, and I got connected with her through my trips to New York, which is another project that I want to get out there because there's some inspiration, as humbly as I can say that, to the trips that I have found in New York. Like, it's inspired me, and I want to pass the inspiration along to y'all, like things like Bad Girl Pie. So Bad Girl Pie is around the main character. Her name is Dorothy, and I have been relating to Dorothy basically my whole life. Dorothy's childhood left some for her to be desired, and my childhood, while yes, my needs, if you will, most of my needs were checked. One of the needs that a child has is emotional needs, right? To the feeling of being safe and just emotional regulation and emotional intelligence, all of those sort of things left for me much to be desired. However, there comes a time when that expires. So yeah, even though your childhood left some to be desired, you've got to just carry on, right? And now my childhood could have been a lot worse. Like, I'm not saying, like, don't pity me, whatever. But it also could have been better. So whereas, same with Dorothy's. And so Marilyn uses, and this is what is so important, when you really distill things down, we get down to art, and it's art that embraces all of it. It's the humanity that speaks to us through art. Now Marilyn uses the form of dance, which I love, because I do relate to dance on some level, although she uses partner dance, and I'm reading through this and I'm just like, what is this? And it's something that I definitely want to get into, like 2026. It is one of my goals. It's actually one of my goals for this last year, but you can only do so many things. I've got enough projects, so there's only so much time in the day. I'm one person, all the things, right? It's a good issue to have. But it's something that I want to put more on the priority for 2026, and this was like, okay, I've got to do it. Marilyn uses the art of dance to evolve Dorothy. And so yeah, maybe Dorothy had this childhood that was left to some to be desired, but at some point that expires, and it doesn't matter. You are an adult. You've got to work through that trauma and those shortcomings and stand up for yourself and become a whole person, and all of that, navigate all of those balances, right? The balance of your friendship with yourself, which I believe is like one of the most important relationships you can cultivate, and she touches on it in here, not more than just touches on it. This is something that validates, and you can relate to. Many of us women, of course men as well, but many of us women can relate to temptations and being, not respecting yourself, especially around food, which is talked about in here. We can all relate to like having the Ben & Jerry's or the big old cake or whatever indulgence, just like going above and beyond of what we should be doing, right? And you've got to navigate those sort of things, and that goes back to emotional regulation and becoming your best friend, so that way you can balance grace with accountability, because there are days, many days, where you need to hold yourself accountable, but then there's also days where you need to have some grace. And I'm not saying like go to Ben and Jerry's for the grace, but I'm saying like rest days count as well, which is also referred to in Bad Girl Pie. It's an absolute gem of a book, and the thing about it and how it can relate back to sewing is that it's all art. At the end of the day, once we get our logistics of life in order, right, and our relationships and our emotional regulation and all those sort of things in order, now we get to indulge in art. And that's really the treasure of life. And so if this helps you to heal from things, well, that helps you with your art, whether that's sewing or music or whatever, dance, whatever your art is. Healing is part of that process of getting your logistics in order. And Marilyn did a fabulous job writing this. Now, this is not for the faint of heart, okay? So if you are easily offended, whether that's by just the real life events or language, not that she peppers it. Like, she's a brilliant writer. So her writing is eloquent, but it's also real world. So if you are easily offended, if you don't really like those sort of books, it's not for you. But if you are someone that just wants a page turner, I was up at 4 a.m. This was like I would get up, and instead of coming in here to work on my projects or whatever, I would get up and I would just flip through these pages eagerly, because I'm just like, what's happening next? What's going to happen next? And all that sort of stuff. Gem of a book, Marilyn. Congratulations on it. The link is down below. I can't recommend it enough. It was an honor to have read it and to have the growth and the knowledge from it. The quotations, the metaphors, just the color in the book, I can't recommend it enough. So it's helped me, and as I'm reading it, I'm getting ideas for sewing, because that's just how my mind works. That's my art, right? Well, at least my main squeeze. It has been my main squeeze, but I like to indulge in all sorts of art that will take me. I think art, it nurtures us, so I don't claim to be an artist. I am grateful that art has nurtured me. I'm just grateful for it. I'm grateful to be for all the lessons and the growth and all that sort of stuff. And this is another thing to add to the list of art that I've gotten to indulge in. So congratulations again, Marilyn, for the wonderful read. Thank you for the advanced copy. And again, the link is down below. Go get you a copy, go read her, and then you'll become a better person just all over, which will translate into sewing.